Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm here with Nic Nierras, and we are talking about mind, money, and meaning, aligning your life for true abundance and purpose. Nicolette, welcome. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for having me. I am so excited to have this conversation with you. And yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. So, Nicolette, you started off in a very traditional career as a chartered accountant, right?
Hit that nail on the head.
So give us a little bit of your journey. How did you go from being, 9 to 5, chartered accountant? Obviously, you've got education to be a chartered accountant to being an entrepreneur.
Okay. The question that people ask me all the time, and I ask myself too, like, how did I do that? Or much of, I think it's my calling, I would say. So
Mhm.
growing up, dad has always told me, Nicolette, the key to bettering your life is through education. So I was a good student and achiever. So I hit the A's, and then for for me to go to the tertiary higher education and then get a good paying job. That's the linear
Sure.
mindset that was indoctrinated to us. So not that it's
Which
not, yeah, it's
yeah,
not
I think
wrong.
most of us were, right? Most of us
Yes.
got, you go to school, you get good grades, you study hard, you get a job, and, you know,
Exactly. Exactly. So I leaned into the idea when I was a kid because I didn't know anything better then. And I was like, okay, I accepted that. And so I studied. But then as I said it to myself, like I have been the one kid who's always interested in doing something different, like at every phase of my life. So what I'm trying to say is that I had imagined or envisioned at the time when I was, I think, 12 or 13, that by 30, Gloria, I'll be like, okay, I'll be climbing the corporate ladder. I'll be somewhere up there with my own family, with kids and whatnot. So I was wrong that actually there's life after 30. So yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh, at the peak, 30 should be my peak. And then it's just gonna go plateau or yeah, plateau. Like I really thought that 30 was like the end game. And
I think most of us did when we were younger. And then we found out, oh
yes,
my gosh, there are
no,
years to
life is
go
start
after 30.
exactly. And life starts at 30, to be honest, for me. So I said, okay, 20 to 30, let me experience it. Let me explore things. So okay, so I still fulfilled my dad's hope that okay, get the chartered accountancy, get myself into a good paying job. And then I said, okay, the career part is sort of like sorted, but what happens with my love department? So I also want to have family, and so I started like seeing potential candidates. At the time I was 25, so I met my ex. Okay, now the story. So my yeah, so the so at I think 2027, I met my ex-husband then, and at the time, everything was like really coming into what I had envisioned. I got the
Mhm.
career, I got to buy a house, I got to buy the car that I wanted, and I'm about to get married. But then it was happening so fast. But on the other flip side of the coin, it was like this is everything that I've wanted, but it was almost like I was losing control. And mind you, Gloria, when I came to union with my then ex-husband, there were red flags already.
Mhm.
But I chose to ignore them because I was like, okay, by hook or by crook, 30, I gotta I gotta seal the deal, right? And
Right.
that was the mistake at the time. It was a fixed mindset. Like, yeah, I was forcing it to happen my way. So
Right.
to cut the story short, I got divorced, and I started my spiritual awakening journey all before 30, and I had my career burnout all before 30, and that's when I started turning a new page into psychology. That's by looking within. So that's a little bit about my background.
Okay, so, people listening to this are entrepreneurs, they're network marketers, they're affiliate marketers, and so many people struggle in that entrepreneurial journey. And they struggle with imposter syndrome. They're trying to put themselves out there on social media as an expert or someone that you should follow or someone that you should join. Meanwhile, they feel like, but I've never had any success. Why should anybody join me? So, how do you teach people to overcome that imposter syndrome?
Imposter means you're fake, right?
Yes,
Like, yes. So it's like um, me getting the invitation to speak at a TEDx event. And if I have imposter syndrome, I'll be saying to myself, Nick, are you sure you're credible enough to be speaking there? Like, who are you? Why would people listen to you?
right,
And I asked that to myself, like, why shouldn't they listen to me? Because all of the achievement that I've accumulated all over the years up until this point, the external parties saw it, but I was blinded by it. All because the feeling of worthless. That's because you are this, at least this is what I have examined within. Why did I feel like an imposter? It's because I wasn't believing and I wasn't loving myself enough that I am truly worthy of receiving all those accolades and the invitation, and say the money that will come with that invitation, that blessing that's coming towards my way. So when I teach people imposter syndrome, and imposter syndrome is a battle that it's not like a one-time thing.
right.
You encountered it, and then because you've heard of this term, right, Gloria? New levels, new devils.
Yes. Yep.
You get through that TEDx event. Okay, fine. Oh, I did it. And then next thing you're gonna be asked to speak in front of, I don't know, thousands, or masterclass. Say, I'm just manifesting right now. Jay Shetty, come and ask me. Nicola, come and talk to, get you on my podcast. Jay Shetty, really? Then I have an option when somebody something that's presented to me at that point, to react in two ways. Am I worthy, or I'm going to be open and receiving, open and receiving mode, that all of this are my manifestations, that because that invitation, like it or not, you have dreamt it and you have put your intention outside. So now I'm touching a little bit about spirituality already, but practical tools and tips that I can tell people, how do I help them, or just friends, and say, okay, how do you get past that? Look within, sit still and look within. Why are you saying that you're faking this? Ask yourself, take yourself as a third party and look at yourself. It's almost, I can tell you, it's your inner child saying that, oh, I'm so scared because I've never seen my future self doing this. But you, deep down in your core, it is what your higher self want of you. That is what it wants of you. So take yourself from the reality that you are in right now, and have, take it as a, it's almost like you're meditating. Like
Hmm.
meditation is a, it's a big thing right now. Before, a few years ago, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, it's like a woo woo thing. But right now, everybody, left, right, and center, people are talking about meditation. It is actually the very key, and we all have that magic within us right now. All you need to do is just to take, stop everything that you're doing, really look within and face yourself. Turn the camera inwards. What are you scared about right now? This is what you've achieved. This is what you asked for. And love yourself, embrace yourself, your inner child, and say, you got this. You really got this. And everything because you are a vessel and now it's coming onto you, and it's your, why you chosen to do this is because you have that gift within you. And next question is, why not you?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So you've obviously been on this entrepreneurial journey, and um, what was the most significant obstacle you faced in going from that corporate career with success to becoming an entrepreneur, a full-time entrepreneur? And how did you overcome that obstacle?
The biggest obstacle was the mindset and the structure, the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that is because 9 to 5, it's easy. You wake up at 7, you commute, you get to work, to the office. I mean, that's after pre-COVID, and after COVID, we're all back to the office after that. And it's the structure that kept me, how do I say, in place. So
Right.
going into entrepreneurial in that journey, that means I'm having control, 100% control of my time, of how I want to dictate my day and my energy and my attention to. So at the time when I first started out, it was, I, how do I say this? I gave myself grace and leeway that, Nicolette, why don't you carve out some time away? I actually told my previous organization that said, I told them I would like to take a step back on the role, and of course with uh, lower lower pay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And then I was like, okay, why don't I give myself time um, away from this 9 to 5, and then get myself on this journey. So I'm a person, I like to start it out with some trial first, because as an accountant, you got to do
Yeah.
your calculated risk, right? um, but of course there are people who's going because they know it, they took the leap of faith, and then just go ahead, and by all means, I am rooting for you 1000%. So but for me, I took that step one by one. So step one was that, and then step two is that I had to get some kind of structure where now that I'm working at home, I had to wake up, I had to mimic as if I'm going to the office, but I'm now working for me. So, and because I was so used to going to the office and working at home, doesn't mean it didn't mean that I was working enough, like, because I was confined in a space. So I made it a point to go to a different cafes. So 7 days a week, I'll take okay, the 5 working days, 1 week at a cafe, one day at a cafe, 3 out of 5 days at a cafe, and 2 days at home. So I was experimenting with that. Or if not, I would be going to a co-working space where I could see other entrepreneurs at the same area also hustling and grinding their own thing, as long as I have that community. So, but being an entrepreneur is a lonely journey, Gloria.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yes.
a lonely journey, and it can get very demotivating. And to be honest, you need a community because we are social beings, we're social creatures, right? And connection is so important. And sometimes, if not most of the time, our circle are our colleagues, because we spend, a third of our day with them, and then only Saturday, Sunday with our family and friends. So for me, it was important to find that like-minded circle, and say, even if it's just for one person, it's just one person. So I had a friend, I still have her in my
Right.
life, yeah, and she would go to 9 to 5, but I told her, thankfully for her, she is, her job doesn't require her to be at the office. So we would go, and we would team up and go sit at a co-working space or a cafe. So coming back to your question, how I transitioned was to introduce a set of structure that was almost similar to me going to work. And then it's more of my mindset, because it's all here.
Right.
It's altered. The
Yes.
moment you get control of this, it's like that. And of course, the internal motivation that one has to come with what exact aligning yourself to the purpose of why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. And
Yeah.
everybody is different. So, for example, when I started my entrepreneurial journey, there's no way I could go sit in a cafe. For
Oh no.
me personally, that would have
Okay.
been so distracting,
Okay.
so distracting. I mean, I just wouldn't be able to get work done. So
Right.
I had an office in my home, and for me, sitting in a different room that was my office
Mm,
was enough for me to say, okay, this is the office space. And
right.
I happen to be very personally self-disciplined when it comes to work. I'm not
Uh-huh.
self-disciplined in everything, but
Uh-huh.
I have a wicked sweet tooth, but I could and I still do today. I'm sitting in my office now. I work when I'm sitting in my office, you know.
Right.
And for me, a cafe would have been very distracting. So, everybody's different. I think the
Exactly.
bottom line is we
Yes.
each have to find what works for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to echo that, I love that you point that out because we have listeners obviously that have their own ways of sometimes maybe being with their family or being with their kids make them more productive, right? Like
Right.
for me, I got to get away from all of that and just, or I could be, as long as I'm in the presence of other people, that means okay, things are moving, there's the world is still going on
Right.
while I'm figuring things out in my entrepreneurial world. Then okay, I'm here, I'm grounded. So yeah, it's good that you make that point really really clear for our listeners so that they too can like, okay, but Nic says I have to be at the cafe, but it doesn't sit right with me. Then don't, by all means, find your way and experiment. It's okay, be
Yeah.
graceful to your, have grace towards yourself especially when you're starting out. Yeah.
Yes. It's like some people love to work with music in the background. I can't do that.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I
Me,
I'm
me, me.
Yeah, I can't do music in the background. But, so everybody has to find their own environment that helps them be the most productive they can be. Um, so, can you explain how rapid transformational therapy works and why it's so important in breaking through those limiting beliefs?
I love it. Thank you for asking me that. Rapid transformational therapy. Therapy, rapid. It means that it's rapid, right? Okay. Why is it different than the normal therapy, like talk therapy or play therapy? It's
Right.
because it is, I have to give credits to the founder of it, Marissa Peer, and I found her through Mind Valley. So shout out to Marissa. Rapid transformational therapy is actually a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnotherapy, hypnosis, and mindfulness. So and we also do touch regression because what we're trying to pinpoint here is the root cause of the trauma. And where does the root cause is stored in our brain is in the subconscious mind.
Right.
But our mind is divided, brain is divided into two, subconscious and conscious. So conscious is when you do things like talking right now, we're conscious, but subconscious is there in the background recording 24/7. So that's why when we wake up, we don't need to think about, we need to wake up and drive to our office because it's already recorded in the subconscious mind. We will drive to that office without us knowing. Okay, by 8:30, by 9, you're already there. You don't, sometimes you even forgot, oh, how did I get here? It's because our
Right.
subconscious mind is already programmed that you're there, that you know the route. So um why rapid transformational therapy? It's because most of the issues that you have today, likely if not all, it's because of your subconscious mind, and you stored them when and where, when it's from your childhood. Now I don't want to put a blanket um, uh, statement that says everything comes from childhood. No, but most of it, 0 to 7, is when the kids develop and absorb everything and anything around them,
Sure.
right? So
Yep.
Rapid transformational therapy, there are tools that we implement that we help individuals to go through the root cause of the trauma that you're facing today by regressing to your childhood. So that's one. And the other part of the question was, why is it important? Yes. Why is it important? It's because if you're cutting weed, you if you're just cutting the top of it, you're not pulling out the root. Are
Right.
we really treating the are we really pulling out the root cause, or are we just treating the symptom? So going straight to subconscious uncovers all of this and bring it out to the surface so we can treat it, and then you can have a reframe mindset. So it's like
And
breaking limiting beliefs.
so have you seen this actually help entrepreneurs have success in their businesses?
Ooh, okay. Entrepreneurs, I would want to take it to a personal level.
Okay.
Mostly the the first person or the first event that popped into mind when you asked me that question was a friend, because I'm bound by confidentiality, of course. It's just I will mention the situation or the circumstance. So she had a very tough time with the mother, and um, she, how does a strange relationship with the mother. Now she used to be my we used to work together. Okay. We used to work together. And then she had issues with the mother. And she is a girl that has a lot of potential, but hindered by the relationship at home. So she came up to me and said, Nick, I have a problem. So we went through a session and we uncovered some really serious, um, I would say, trauma since she was a kid.
Hmm.
And after we did the work with her, she became one of the best employees in the department and was even offered by two different departments to
Hmm.
join their team. So that's how transformational it was for her. So that's on an individual level. Yeah.
So, Nick, if people want to find out more about you and the work you do, how can they find out about you?
Oh, thank you for that. Okay. So if people out there listening would like to reach out to me and they want to know what is it that I do and what rapid transformational therapy is, they can visit my website, www.thenicnierraswholisticlifestyle.com. And I'm also on social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Now, my TikTok is related to my podcast, which I also have podcasts, and it's Your Wordless Podcast. So yes, I'm available everywhere.
And check out the notes above or below this, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, and we'll have all those links there. So, Nick, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your insights on your journey and how rapid transformational therapy can help.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for having me and your amazing questions.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.